And welcome to this New Year's Portal presentation. My name is Jenny C. Bell, and if you're watching this as the premiere, feel free to chat and ask questions. I would love that kind of interaction. I chose today as the day to premiere this video because it is a new moon on top of being in this near Samhain energy. And so we're going to discuss what Samhain is. I'm going to lead you through a meditation and ideas for a ritual. And you'll, by this point, just kind of have everything you need to celebrate this new moon or Samhain or use this information in the future. So if you're here for the premiere, please type in and chat and go for that. If you're seeing this later, still comment, still chat with me. I love to hear feedback and I love to know. I'd like to do more of these kind of rituals. These are things I do in our coven all the time, but I'd like to do them for other people. So I wanted to share a little bit about myself. My name is Jenny C. Bell. I have been a witch for now over 3 decades. I am the host of the Cozy Coven Chats podcast. I am the host of Our Coven, which is a private social media for witches and witchy people. And I am also the author of Spirit Crystals, Discover Your Crystal Guide for Healing and Empowerment, which you can buy as a physical book, also an audiobook. And it's not really about crystals. It's actually about connecting with the spirit guide, the spirit energy of a crystal. So it's more along those lines. And there's over 40 different practices in here of meditations, of rituals, of spell work, of chanting, all kinds of fun things. So, and I have another book coming out soon on witchcraft. So I have my hands in kind of like both worlds. And so, yeah, thank you for being here. Happy early Samhain. You can always rewatch this closer to Samhain and do the ritual at that time. But since we're in this new moon energy, it felt just right to do this. And I'm doing this as a premiere because I am a one-woman show, and that way I can also be live in the chat. So thanks so much. With a brief overview of the Witch's Wheel of the Year, also known as the 8 Sabbats. Now, how this Wheel of the Year came to be was when neo-pagans or new pagans, new witches decided that they would like to have celebrations and almost kind of form witchcraft into a new religion called Wicca. Now, all of these holidays were pulled from older, ancient holidays, mainly from Europe. And so Samhain is originally a Celtic word, a Celtic holiday. It's very old, very traditional. So what I'm teaching here is not that. It is the witch's way, the modern witch's way of celebrating Samhain. It's not the Celtic way, okay? So I don't want anybody to think like, hey, that's not what Celts do or whatever. It's true, but at this point, Samhain has been in the new witches culture for so long that we've come up with lots of different ways to celebrate the holiday. And so I just wanted to clarify that. I wanted to go over a little bit of the witch's wheel. So Samhain here is at the top, and it's our new year. So if you're going to, there was this belief when I was a witch in the 90s that if you celebrated a year and a day of the wheel, that you would be an official witch. Like it was a self-initiation. So you would start with Samhain and then you go through all of the holidays, and then after the next Samhain you're officially a witch. So we have Samhain here, and this is considered a cross-quarter day, which means it is not an equinox or a solstice. It is in between. So we have Samhain, and then after Samhain is Yule, which is the winter solstice. Then we have Imbolc, which is around February 1st or 2nd. Ostara is the spring equinox. Beltane, also known as May Day, which is like May 1st. Litha, which is also known as the summer solstice. Then we have Lunasa or Lammas, and again, not the traditional, like I don't work with the god Lu, right? But this is another one of those cross-quarter days, August 1st. Then we have Mabon, which is the fall equinox. So if you look, we have Samhain is in between Mabon and Yule. So it's in between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. We have this cross-quarter day. And it is directly across from Beltane, which is May 1st. So directly, it's hard to do with the camera, directly across. Okay, and so Samhain traditionally has always been a time to honor ancestors and people who have passed away. And we see this throughout cultures. So it's not just older European cultures. We see this with Day of the Dead. We see Catholicism kind of jump in there and, work with that energy too. We see Halloween being moved towards closer to this day, so it's celebrated all together. And so we have a lot of kind of like connection and bleeding over of different cultural ideas and ancestry beliefs. But basically, at the heart of Samhain is a time to honor those who have passed away, whether you knew them or not in your life, to welcome back ancestors, to venerate or work with ancestors, to work through shadow work, to embrace the time of the thinning of the veils. And what does that mean? That means that the veil between the living and the dead is thinner, meaning that this is an easier time to do divination, such as tarot readings and things like that. Also meaning it's easier to connect with those who have passed away. And so we have this sort of celebration of death in not a morbid or creepy way, but in a way that honors the parts of us have died, the loved ones who have passed away, the ones that come before us who have died, right? Maybe if you work with ascended masters, those ascended masters who have passed away, if you work with saints, the saints that have passed away, right? It's just this honoring of the seasonal change and us moving from the equinox to winter solstice, so moving more towards darkness or the longest night of the year, and honoring ancestors and honoring the part of our lives that involve death, right? Which would be loved ones passing or parts of ourselves that we've let go of. And so there's lots of themes to work with. So it's not limited to one way. And that's, I think, really important when we celebrate these holidays, is that it's not just one thing. They're always multifaceted, and there's different directions you can take. And I think every path is as different as the witch that celebrates it, right? We can all kind of have these different, that's what I love about witchcraft, is it's so open to interpretation. And so there's just lots of ideas that we could do. So we will actually be focusing on releasing the old year in this ritual, and that can entail a lot for you. It could entail releasing habits and things that no longer serve you. It could be about releasing things that didn't go well. It could be releasing mistakes. It could be releasing those that have passed. There's a lot that we can do within that. And that'll be the focus of this ritual, because then it can be adapted to anyone's need. So that is what we'll be doing. And in a moment, we'll be opening a circle. And it'll be my way of opening a circle. If you have a different way, then do your own different way. I will be leading you through a brief meditation. We will do the ritual, and then we'll end with some journal questions. If you would like to repeat after me for the opening of the ritual circle, you may, but you don't have to. If you would like to get up and move around your space so that you are in the different places, you can use a compass on your phone to find the directions. And I will be starting in the south, which is not what everybody does. And so, if you want to get in position for that, you can. If you wanted to already have, if you want to do this later and you want to have some offerings set up, you can do that too. But just be leading you through the prayer that I use. And it probably is different than yours, and that's what's great, right? So take a deep breath. If you want to get up and stand in the south, you can, but not necessary. If you want to repeat after me, you can, but not necessary. So thank you to the elementals and the elements of the south, guardians of fire. We thank you for protecting, guarding, and guiding us in this circle. Thank you to the elementals and the elements of the west, guardians of water. We thank you for protecting, guarding, and guiding us in this circle. We thank the elementals and the elements of the north, guardians and guides of the earth. We thank you for protecting and joining our circle. We thank the elementals and the elements of the east, those of air. We thank you for protecting, guarding, and guiding our circle. Thank you to the elementals of earth, air, fire, and water. We honor you. We thank you, Mother Earth. We honor the land spirits, and we honor the spirits of the land that came before us. We honor our ancestors and the shaman, the witches, the healers, the curing people, the cunning folk, the magicians who came before us on this land and around us. We honor the stones and the plants and the trees and the flowers and the animals. We honor you, Great Mother Earth. And we honor you, Father Sky, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun, the great creator. Thank you for watching above us. In this circle, all elements happily meet. May our circle protect us, guard us, and guide us. Blessed be. Now that our circle is open and we feel spiritually protected, I will be leading us through a brief meditation to connect with ancestors so that they can guide us through the release of the old year. So if you would like to light a candle safely or an incense, or you would like to sit or lay on the floor or move yourself so you're more comfortable, I really suggest doing that. It's not a very long meditation, but just something to help you tune in. If you would like to do anything prior to preparing for this ritual, please do that now. For the rest of the ritual, I suggest, if you'd like a candle, if you'd like to have a candle, or a journal with a pen or paper. That's really it. A candle, a pen and a paper. I would say that's what you need moving forward. And they're optional. I like to light candles for rituals because I feel that the fire draws light towards us and draws energy towards us. And so if we're looking to connect with ancestors, it's like a light for them to follow. And in fact, that's one reason I've heard why people had jack-o'-lanterns. There's lots of interesting stories out there. But one thing I've heard is that traditionally the lights were to bring back the ancestors and the people have crossed over to see. So if you have a candle available, grab it, light it. If you have pen and paper, bring it over so that you can do the journaling activity after. Let's have you get comfortable, and if thoughts pop up, just know that that's normal. If you don't like closing your eyes, you can just relax your gaze. We call that drishti in yoga, where you just kind of let your eyes relax and your gaze become unfocused. If you have a hard time visualizing or imagining, instead try to feel or sense what I say in your body. So you're going to take a moment, close your eyes when you're ready, take a deep breath, maybe let out a sigh, and then I want you to just check in a moment with your body, your physical body. So you might want to pat your physical body, feel your arms, feel your legs, feel your head, just really remind yourself that this is your vessel, you're here in this body. And then when you're doing that, is there any part of you that could become a little more comfortable? Do you need to maybe uncross your legs or shift or pull down your waistband of your pants? Like what would make you just a little more comfortable for this practice? And remember, you're not on camera, so that's the beauty of doing these videos this way, right? So get yourself comfortable, and then with your eyes closed, now your body's a little more comfortable, I want you to check in with your emotions. So just a simple, without judgment, how are you feeling today? Nothing attached to it, just how are you feeling? What is the emotion you feeling right now? And then last, we're going to check in with the mental clutter, the mind. Checking in with the mind. What are some thought patterns? What are some things going on in there? A lot of times there's things on loop. We're going to ask it to quiet down so that we can connect. And then we're going to check in with our spirit or our soul self, right? This is the part of ourselves we try to bring forward when we do these rituals meditations. So I would like you to invite your soul self or spirit self forward, whichever term you feel more comfortable with. You can also use highest self. So just say something like, for this meditation ritual, I'd like to invite my highest self forward, my soul self, my spirit self. For this meditation ritual, I'd like to invite my soul self forward. And then close your eyes if you can. And don't worry if you're doing it wrong, you're not. Okay? Don't ask those questions. You're here. Let everything fall away from whatever was going on prior to being here. And just going to tune in. So we invited our soul self forward, and we're going to invite that soul self to expand. So in your mind's eye, visualize, see, or sense, feel that soul self expanding beyond your physical body, right? So the soul self, the spirit self is bigger now than your physical body. It's growing tall, and it's also growing long. It's starting to reach its feet down into the earth and reach its head past the sky. You're becoming huge, really expanding like a giant tree, right? With your branches of your head and your hands above into the sky, and your feet like roots grounded into the Mother Earth, into the heart of the Mother Earth. You're just expanding. And in this moment of expansion, you know that you're really infinite, because part of you will live on in those that come after you. And part of you has lived before in those that came before you. And then you're going to start to let that expansion contract, start to get smaller and smaller, get back into your aura, your own field, right? We're here again, back near our body. And we're going to invite our ancestors to join us. And you can repeat after me in your mind or aloud, or not at all. Thank you to my ancestors who want to be here. Thank you to the ancestors known and unknown. Thank you to my ancestors of highest consciousness. Thank you to my ancestors who wish to connect. And thank you to my ancestors who wish to guide. Thank you for joining me here and now, in this circle, in this sacred space. Thank you, ancestors, for joining me in the here and now, in this circle, in this sacred space. Thank you, ancestors, who are joining me in the here and now, in this circle, in this sacred space. I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. I am a part of you, and you are a part of me. I thank you for being here and guiding this ritual. Guide my release, guide my journaling, and guide me into this New Year's portal. When you're ready, you may feel, see, sense ancestors with you. Let your mind wander, let your heart be open, and just see if you can feel or sense a presence. You may see a face, you may hear a name. You may feel a shift of air. And even if you don't feel anything, please know that they are with you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I will lead you through the ritual. And like I said, if you have a candle and it's already lit or it's not lit, bring it with you to the ritual and something to light it with. Candle ritual is probably one of the simplest forms of witchcraft, and so simple that I think sometimes people forget about it. I know that candle spells are how I started on my own practice, and I just want to go over a few things real quick. Is that any candle will do. You know, they sell them in many colors and shapes and sizes, and as you evolve on your practice, you'll learn what candles you like and how to use different candles. There's different things you can do. You can add herbs and oils to candles. You can draw runes or sigils. You can make designs. You can carve into your candles. There's so many things you can do with your candles. I personally, when I buy a candle, I cleanse it with a selenite wand or some Florida water, and then if you use Florida water, let it dry because it's highly flammable. And then I usually speak an intention to it and I add herbs. So for ancestors, You could add herbs that you personally cook with that are part of your ancestry. So, let's say that you are Italian, right? Greek or Mexican, all of whom use oregano, right? And there's other cultures that do too, but those are three that come to mind, right? So you could use a little oregano. You could use an incense that you feel is magical, like frankincense or myrrh, copal, that you feel would connect you to your ancestry. And you could not do any of those things, and that's also okay, right? So for now, we have a candle lit, and we're just going to use the candle to signal that we are ready to do magic, right? We have the elements of air and fire here. We have a light for our ancestors and our guides that we just connected with. So I light this candle with intention for my ancestors and my guides. If you work with other deities, you could also invite them. And I like having a candle for these kind of ceremonies because it adds a little magic, right? But also it's nice to gaze into the flame as a form of relaxation or a scrying. So you have your candle lit, and what we're going to do is really just release the year and its lessons. So if for whatever reason Samhain doesn't feel like a new year to you, you could use this video at the Gregorian New Year, right? So New Year's Eve, the calendar New Year, which would be December 31st. You can also use it at the energetic New Year, the spring equinox, right? Which a lot of astrologers look at as the new year. But for witches, Samhain is that new year time, right? It's the thinning of the veils. We have this moment of liminal space, and we use it to jump from like one energy to the next. So what I would like you to do is close your eyes for a moment and just think about, if you had one word to describe the year, what the energy of the year was, what the emotion of the year was, what this year brought to you, what would be the theme of this year. Think of one word. So what could be the one word for this year for yourself? And you could always write this down if you'd like. You can close your eyes. You can just look into your candle flame. But what would be the year's theme or word? And then I'd like you to envision releasing that. So you could close your eyes and see it on a board, like a chalkboard, and seeing it being erased. You could actually physically write it down and burn it safely in a fireproof like sink or a bowl or something to add more fire to this ritual. You could write it down in ink and put it in a bowl of water and watch it dissolve over, it takes a long time. You could rip it up. And it's not that we don't like the lessons of the year or the theme of the year, but it's that we're ready for a new chapter. If you're doing this live with me, it's a new moon, and we're in the Samhain energy. It's so much new, fresh energy. And that's why I called it a New Year's portal, because that all seems to be opening up these new doors. And I know for many people, this year has been quite challenging for lots of reasons. And so we are releasing it early for some of us, right? A lot of us don't release the year until January or late December, early January. But doing this will really help set a little reset button, a little refresh for what can be the darkest time of the year, right? A lot of people fall into seasonal depression. There's a lot of stress involved in the holiday. But if we're opening a new chapter and we're hitting some refresh, we're able to get some new life into us, right? So we're going to simply think that theme, and then let it go. So I thank 2025 for all the lessons learned, for all the energy, and I release it. I close this chapter and I move on. I welcome in the new energy of the new moon, of Samhain, of the fresh start. I welcome in the new year, the new moon, Samhain, and a fresh start. And I release the past that no longer serves me. I release any old or stuck energy. I release lessons learned. And I invite in some fresh energy. Take a moment to close your eyes or look into your candle's flame. Feel your ancestors with you. And just let the door shut on what no longer serves. You may imagine cords connected to your body, to your heart space, and your womb space, and your chakras being released or dissolved or cut away. You may envision a door being shut and another door opening. But tonight we let go of the old and we welcome in new, fresh, vibrant, healthy energy. We release old lessons learned. We release anything that's been stagnant, anything that's not serving us, anything that's heavy. We don't want to take any of that in to this new year. Just close your eyes. You may even envision yourself with a bunch of baggage, luggage, and backpacks, and you can just throw it down because we're not going to take that in to the new year. And if you don't already have your pen and paper, please get that because we will be journaling next. So you may want to spend more time than I give you here to journal. I don't want to, I used to be a classroom English teacher. And so some students can answer questions really quick and then others need time to contemplate. So I might give you these journal questions and nothing comes to mind and you won't want to write about them. Maybe I would personally take one question a day for the next couple of nights and really give myself the time to write and process them. You can also use these questions with your tarot, oracle, or other forms of divination. So they're really good divination questions. And right now the veil is thin, like we talked about. So you might want to use them that way. And I do really think there is value in actually journaling. So instead of just like listening to the question and thinking in your head some answers, it really helps us process what's going on inside sometimes to write or to type it out. And you may, if you're doing this with someone else, you're watching this with someone else, it may be that you want to journal and then share with that person, talk with them, which even gives you more insight, right, when we are able to share with somebody. So our first question is, what are some lessons learned this year? And so we're going, when we talk about a witch's year, we're going all the way back to November 1st of last year, right, calendar year. So from November 1st of 2024 all the way till now, what are some lessons learned? And I'm sure it's a lot. So you might want to focus on the most important lessons or top 10. But what are some lessons learned this year? Number 2, what are some things you have harvested? And this would be manifesting that has come true. It could be things you've created, things you've accomplished, things you're proud of, changes you've made. So what have you harvested? Number 3, what are some things you want to leave behind? What are some things you want to leave behind, you don't want to take into the new year? And number 4, what are the things you want to take with you? So when we talk about opening and closing a door and stepping into a portal, we don't want to leave everything behind, right? There are things that have gone well for you this year. What are the things you're taking with you versus what are you leaving behind? So I'll go over them all one more time. What are some lessons learned this year? What are some things you have harvested? What are some things you want to leave behind? And what are the things you want to take with you? I thank you for joining me and connecting with me. I will be closing our circle in a moment, but I wanted to take a little bit of time just to invite you to join our coven. If you're interested, you go to jennycbell.com and there's a whole section on our coven. Our coven is a private social media, meaning that everybody in there wants to be there. There's nobody in there selling you things. There's no ads. There's no bots. There's no AI. There is just me, your host, and some really kind, loving people who are witches or on a witchy path or interested in becoming witches. We have this vast library of things like we did today. We do lives every month. And all of those are in there. We have articles. We have a live chat where we chat every day. We've been part of this. We've been doing this beautiful photo challenge, and we've been sharing photos with each other every day. We have recipe swaps, we have spell swaps, there's meditations, there's rituals, there's a whole spell inventory, there's an apothecary circle as I studied herbalism, there's a kitchen witch circle, there's a whole baby witch circle, a beginner witch circle where you can ask questions and lots of beginner information. We have a book circle where we read books together and talk about books together. We have a divination circle with a divination chat where we swap readings with one another for new moons and full moons. There's information in all 8 Sabbats, all of the Wheel of the Years. There's talks, there's meditations, there's rituals, there's what to do for your altar, there's how to celebrate. We have guests in there that are exclusive to our coven. It really is a beautiful time. So if you liked working with me, you liked connecting like this is what we do. And it's a beautiful place to be, really. I'm really proud of it. It's something I created because I was alone in my own practice and I wanted to connect with people who are like-minded. And that's exactly what's happened. It's a beautiful group of people. You can choose to be a membership for a month and just check it out. Or you can dive in with a year's membership or half a year membership. And right now, because you're here and you watch this video, I have the code SAMHAIN, SAMHAIN, and that takes 20% off and from now until the end of 2025 for an annual membership or a semi-annual membership. And that means that you would be a member from now and all the way until next Samhain, right? Or whenever you decide to join us. So it's a full year no matter when you join. So just because you're joining now doesn't mean you only get it to the end of 2025, right? It's a full year and it's 20% off. That's the lowest price I've ever done. And it's because I really would love more people to be there. So if you're here watching this and you enjoyed this and you're like, I'd like to do more of this, please consider joining us. It's definitely worth the price, because like I said, it's private and you're getting a back inventory to everything we've ever done in there. And we've been around a few years now. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope you'll consider joining our coven and use the code SAWIN for sure. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed to YouTube, please do that. And you can catch all the Cozy Coven Chats podcasts on here. So thank you so much. I would like to close our circle now. So thank you to the elementals and the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Thank you to our ancestors. Thank you to our soul self for stepping forward. Thank you to any other angels, guides, saints, goddesses, deities that showed up. Thank you to the earth above us, below us, and the cosmos above us. Thank you to the new moon energy. Thank you to Samhain. Thank you to everybody that's here, live or not. And our circle is open, but never broken. Blessed be. Thank you so much for joining me. This is my first time ever doing a premiere like this and doing a ritual like this outside of our coven. I try to keep things in there because it's a little safer for me, not to put myself out there, but also because the energy in there is always so great. So thank you. I appreciate your time, your energy, and I hope you have a wonderful Samhain. And I hope this encourages you to celebrate all 8 of the holidays. And yeah, I hope it makes you feel confident. You don't have to call yourself a witch to do these things. You may just want to be maybe interested in just a spiritual path. So thank you so much. Blessed be.